Marhaba wa ahlan wa sahlan feekum. Hope you're well and having a wonderful day. Welcome to another session of In Levantine Arabic. This is Ibrahim with you. In today's session, as you see on the screen, we'll cover a number of phrases, I think more than 10, a number of phrases that uses the name of Allah Azza wa Jal in our daily conversation, especially in dialect, is widely used. People tend to use it in a daily life for a number of reasons. This session was requested by a number of you, and I think persistently by one of you. So here we are. Hopefully that helps you guys. Just to recap again, as I mentioned earlier, we'll explore phrases in Levantine Arabic that incorporate the word Allah Azza wa Jal and are frequently used in daily conversation. So these expressions often convey cultural and religious meanings and are integral to everyday speech. We're going to go through some of these phrases. I'll give you the meaning and the usage and an example. So hopefully that helps you to understand them, and hopefully it helps you, inshallah, which is one of them, how to use them. Let's get started and let's have a look. The first phrase is, as you know, and I think in some of you these European languages use it, and it's actually in German dictionary, which is inshallah. Insha'Allah, inshallah. But then people, when they tend to say in daily life, people tend to go over a little bit faster, so they say inshallah, inshallah. Inshallah, as you see on the screen, means God willing. In terms of the use, we use it to express hope or intentions for the future, indicating that something will happen if it is in God's will. So we tend to use it quite a lot, like, if somebody is telling you that she will see you next month, and you say inshallah, inshallah, if all goes well, we'll meet together. I've got an example here below for you. It says رح نلتقي بكرة إن شاء الله. رح نلتقي بكرة إن شاء الله. رح نلتقي بكرة إن شاء الله. رح نلتقي بكرة inshallah, we'll meet tomorrow, God willing. So again, this phrase is widely used. Get to practicing it and get to using it. It's really easy. So it's always used to express hope or intentions for the future, or indicating that something will happen if it's in God's will. So it is inshallah, inshallah. Our next phrase is Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, again, it's widely used, but in dialect, they tend to shorten it a little bit differently, and they say Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. In terms of the meaning, means praise be to God, or praise be to Allah. And in terms of the use, it used to express gratitude, satisfaction, or relief. It could be used in response to, let's say, good news or bad news. In fact, not just only good news, bad news, but they say, Alhamdulillah, that it was ended up with a certain thing and nothing more than that. So it's not always, it's not like being sarcastic or sarcasm. So it is showing gratitude or satisfaction or relief in this case, if we're talking about bad news. Or, for example, after recovering from an illness, or when asked, how are you doing? So sometimes people tend to use say, kifak or kifek, and people say Alhamdulillah bikhair, Alhamdulillah bikhair, as we have in the example below. So kifak al-yawm, or kif halak al-yawm, or kif halak, how are you, kif halak, and the person would reply Alhamdulillah bikhair, Alhamdulillah bikhair, which means praise be to Allah, I'm fine. So again, it's widely used as phrase on a number of uses. Again, it's used to express gratitude, satisfaction, relief. It could be used in response to good news or bad news. And after recovering, or somebody has recovered from an illness or just come out of a hospital, or in fact, when sometimes people would say, how are you? How are you doing? And the response would be Alhamdulillah bikhair. Alhamdulillah bikhair. Our second phrase, which I think a lot of you have heard of it, is Mashallah. 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 And that is the full pronunciation. However, going back, because this is dialect and people tend to soften and tend to kind of make the phrase a little bit more easier or smoother to pronounce, then people would say Mashallah, Mashallah, Mashallah. In terms of the meaning, what God has willed or what God has put in plan or planned for the future. In terms of the uses, so we use it to express admiration, praise, or to avoid envy, like the evil eye, as we all know the hand of Fatima, which I think a lot of you married or come from an Arab background or heritage learner, I'm sure you know about that, especially like when seeing something good or beautiful, especially when your in-laws meet the kids or the young one, or walk past you down the road, your neighbor, and they just look at the kids, oh mashallah, it's like, oh beautiful, what a beautiful. So we use it to express admiration or praise. I've got an example here for you, and it is mashallah بيتك كتير حلو. Mashallah بيتك كتير حلو. So what God has willed, oh amazing, your house is beautiful, your house is very beautiful. So mashallah بيتك كتير حلو, and that is mashallah, mashallah. Our next phrase is Allah يعطيك العافية. Allah يعطيك العافية. And of course this is used to talk to a guy, a man, but of course you could use the same to talk to a woman. So you say Allah يعطيكي العافية, Allah يعطيكي العافية. So instead of يعطيك, you just add an extra E if you're talking to a woman. So say Allah يعطيكي العافية. And here it depends on the person you're talking to, addressing. So it doesn't depend on you, the person who's talking, just to bear that in mind. And the meaning, may God or Allah give you strength. In terms of the use, as you see on the screen, we commonly use it to say to somebody who has completed a task, or a workman like a laborer, to thank them for their hard effort or their work or their craftsmanship, or the way they've undertaken a certain work. Or for example, if they're working, if you're walking past a shop and you see the elderly or the gentleman who's working there, you would say Allah يعطيك العافية, Allah يعطيك العافية, which means may Allah or God give you strength. So that's the use for this phrase. I've got an example here for you. خلصت الشغل. خلصت الشغل, I've just finished work. خلصت الشغل, if you're a laborer or worksman, you work in somebody's house, and then the person would reply Allah يعطيك العافية. Allah يعطيك العافية, which means may God give you strength, or well done for such an amazing job. If that's what you've done, an amazing job. If not, I don't know what's going to happen there. You're on your own. And going back to the beginning, when I mentioned the way you address the person, so if you're talking to a man, you would say Allah يعطيك العافية. But if you're talking to a lady or woman, you would say Allah يعطيكي العافية. And there's always a reply. So the reply would be to a man, Allah يعافيك, Allah ya'afik. And then the reply to a lady, to a woman, you would say Allah ya'afiki. And the reply to a woman would be Allah ya'afiki. Allah ya'afiki. So that would be the reply to the phrase above. Just to remember that, okay? So to recap back again, this phrase is commonly used to address a hardworking person, a laborer, a worksman who's working for you or with you and have done an amazing job. Or in fact, if you're walking down the road and you saw your neighbor working at the off-license shop or in their own shop, and you could just wave, you say, Allah يعطيك العافية. And it's an amazing thing, and that's how community comes together, and that's the main difference between Western culture and Eastern culture, or Middle Eastern culture. Even beyond that, it's not just Middle Eastern culture. There are lots of other cultures that do share the same similarities, and that's how the community is strong. I mean, imagine greeting of something similar, your neighbor in Germany or in the UK. In fact, they'll think you're mad. Our next phrase is Allah yirhamuh. Allah yirhamuh if you're talking about a man, and I'll tell you in a bit why. So Allah yirhamuh. Allah yirhamuh if you're talking about a man, and Allah yirhamah if you're talking about a woman. Allah yirhamah, Allah yirhamah, and Allah yirhamuh, and that's if you're talking about a man. Here is the meaning. may God or may Allah have mercy on him or on her. So that's the meaning. So if you're talking about a lady or woman who sadly passed away or deceased, and this is the equivalent of rest in peace. So you'd say, Allah yirhamuh, Allah yirhamuh. And if you're talking to or about a man who sadly just passed away or deceased, you'd say, Allah yirhamuh, Allah yirhamuh. And it means may him or her rest in peace, or may Allah have mercy on him or on her. And in terms of the usage, it's self-explanatory. So we use it if someone passes away as a way of expressing your condolences. So that's the use, or that's the primary use for it. An example here: سمعت إنه توفى. سمعت إنه توفى. سمعت, I heard, إنه, that, توفى, he sadly passed away, he died. Allah yirhamuh, which means may Allah have mercy on him. So that is the phrase. We tend to use it, again, it depends on the situation or the circumstances. If you come across, that's the phrase to use. Our next phrase is Allah ma'ak. Allah ma'ak. Allah ma'ak. If you're talking to a woman, Allah ma'ak. Allah ma'ak. If you're talking to a woman, Allah ma'ak. Allah ma'ak. Allah ma'ak. And that is if you're talking to a man. In terms of the meaning, it means may God or Allah be with you. And it's pretty much self-explanatory as well. So we use it when saying goodbye or wishing somebody to have a safe journey or a safe onward journey and protection. So we use it on that meaning. I've got an example here below for you. أنا رايح, Allah ma'ak. أنا رايح, which means I'm going, I'm leaving. Allah ma'ak, may God or may Allah be with you or to protect you. So we always use it to when you say goodbye to somebody and you wish them a safe onward journey and to keep them protected. So again, it's used a lot on that meaning or for that purpose. Our next phrase is Ya Allah. Ya Allah. Ya Allah. But of course, the word Allah is pronounced differently, but when people tend to use it on a day-to-day basis, they tend to shorten it, so they say Ya Allah, Ya Allah. And in terms of the meaning, it means O Allah or O God. And in terms of the use, it can be used in various contexts to express a range of emotions, such as surprise, relief, frustration, or to express the sadness over the horrors that happens, like these days or what's happening now in Palestine. It's incredibly shocking and devastating and heartbreaking to watch what's happening. And we use it when starting with something that has the God name. So say Ya Allah. Here we've got a simpler example for you. Ya Allah, ما كنت متوقع هيك نتيجة. Ya Allah, ما كنت متوقع هيك نتيجة. Ya Allah, oh Allah, ما كنت, I wasn't, متوقع, expecting, هيك, as such or such as, نتيجة, result. So for example, if you passed an exam or you're waiting to hear something and the result was something you didn't expect, is oh my God, I didn't really expect it to be like this, or this is amazing, to say or express amazement or surprise, or could be frustration, as I said. Our next phrase is Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar is used a lot and on many meanings, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you used it. And in fact, it's used a lot as a slogan by a lot of people, a lot of not nice people, but it's used by a lot of nice people as well. Not everybody uses it as not nice people. So God is the greatest, that's the meaning. In terms of the use, people tend to use it to express an awe, reverence, or in a religious context, especially in prayer. So we could hear it a lot when you go down the street when it's prayer time. You would hear it. So people would use it to call for prayer, asking people to come and pray. It can also, as you see on the screen, it can be exclaimed in moments of great joy or achievement, when people tend to achieve like, amazing results, or when a match, for example. So here is the example here in front of you. Somebody's just won a match and they couldn't believe it. So he said, Allahu Akbar, ربحنا المباراة. Allahu Akbar, ربحنا المباراة. So we won the match. So it's not always about bad news or something which is horrible. People tend to use it for other amazing stuff, like winning a football match. Our next phrase is Allah ywaffik. Allah ywaffik. Allah ywaffik, or if you tend to pronounce the qaf, how it should be, so you say Allah ywaffik. However, the majority of people would tend to soften the letter qaf and replace it with a glottal stop. So people would say Allah ywaffik. Allah ywaffik. Allah ywaffik. And that's if you're talking to a woman. If you're talking to a man, you would say Allah ywaffak. Allah ywaffak. Ywaffak. Allah ywaffak. Allah ywaffak. And if you're talking to a woman, you say Allah ywaffik. Allah ywaffik. Okay, guys, in terms of the meaning, it means may God or Allah grant you success, which is amazing. Or simply, it means please. Depends on the context. In terms of the use, it could be used on a variety of circumstances. Mainly, we use it to wish someone success in their endeavors, such as in work, studies, or particular task, for example. And sometimes we tend to use it if you are trying to request something from somebody, like your sibling. So say, Allah ywaffak, a'tini al-mobile. Or please, can you give me the mobile? Or Allah ywaffak, wassilni lal-mahatta. Allah ywaffak, which means please, wassilni, give me a lift, lal-mahatta, to the station. Or please, can you give me a lift to the station? And here I've got an example for you. Allah ywaffak bil-imtihan. Allah ywaffak bil-imtihan, which means may God grant you, or may Allah grant you success in the exam. Or in a simpler terms, it means good luck in the exam. Our next phrase is Allah yisallmak. Allah yisallmak. Allah yisallmak if you're talking to a woman. Allah yisallmak. Allah yisallmak. And if you're talking to a man, Allah yisallmak. Allah yisallmak. Allah yisallmak. And that is if you're talking to a man. In terms of the meaning, it means may God or Allah keep you safe. And in terms of the use, it's pretty much self-explanatory, typically said in response to someone wishing you safety or good health. So, for example, somebody would say, Salamtak, and the response would be, Allah yisallmak. Salamtak, I hope you're well, I hope you're safe, or get well soon. That's if somebody tells you that. And the response would be, Allah yisallmak. Allah yisallmak, may God or may Allah as well keep you safe because you wished me the same. So that is the meaning and that is the use. So we use it to wish somebody safety or good health. Allah yisallmak for a man and Allah yisallmak for a woman. And with this phrase, I'll end today's session, sadly. Otherwise, it's going to get way too long because it will get over 10 phrases. I know you want more, but it takes a lot of time to write this. So that's why we're going to cover more later. I've got 2 more sessions to look at these for you guys. So I hope you really enjoy this. And if you did, as always, hit that like button, comment, let me know what did you make of it. And share it with your friends and family. So hopefully they as well enjoy. So don't be selfish and keep this for you. Share it with other people as well so that hopefully they as well enjoy it. And subscribe. And I don't know why you wouldn't. Apparently 39% they haven't subscribed. So I don't know why. Madness. But yeah, subscribe because you always receive something like this, which I think is great. Till next time, stay safe. Mashallah.